for us working as a married couple and playing together as a married couple, it's hard to separate it honestly from everything else that we do together, I find. A part of this decision to go for this instrument was that my parents are both musicians, and they play between the two of them quite a few instruments, but not the violin. And I guess the idea, both for them and for me, was that they wouldn't be able to tell me what to do on the instrument. And that actually works well on the violin, because after a year or so of playing, a person who is not playing, there's a limit to how much they can sort of give you orders, I find.
I chose the piano because my grandmother had bought somewhere, I don't know, in the flea market, a 19th century upright that had like wooden cuts of Mozart and other composers and two candle holders. And I thought that was really, really cool. And we actually had a family member who played the violin, and I was taken to that family member, for examination. And he said, well, why don't you play the violin? And I said, no, I'm going to play the piano.
I guess the story I would choose is, and I've told Liza did that before, so is maybe 11 or 12. It was the first time I entered a competition. I didn't get anything. And I remember very clearly, I was sitting there kind of miserably on the bed. And then I got a phone call from my teacher at the time, and he told me, look, these are the times where you decide whether you're a lion or a mouse. Whether you're gonna just get at it again or just hide under the blanket. And this I've remembered since, and it's been a very useful lesson ever since then in my life in music so far.
I had a kind of a love-hate relationship with practicing. When I was little, I was babysat by family members who were not musicians. So the only thing they could tell my parents afterwards was that whether I was playing or not. So I used to just sight read things and just play whatever I wanted and not actually what was assigned. And for better or for worse, I'm a good sight reader. And it taught me to really, love music. So it was kind of a good combination, because then when my parents came home, I practiced, the vegetables.
For me personally, it helps me sometimes actually, I don't want to say disconnect from real life, but definitely go to another place, and a place where I enjoy being, and it sort of helps me, I don't know, forget, but put aside some things for the time being, and I enjoy that very much.
I have found that music is a really vast field, and some of the things that I thought I would be doing when I was in pre-college were actually things that I later discovered didn't actually even interest me that much, and other things in the field of music interest me, like researching the music that I play, or teaching, or certain kinds of collaboration, or producing certain kinds of concerts and collaborations with other people. So it was actually a really nice pivot, because I think when I grew up at the very beginning, I was looking at it in a very kind of narrow way. And then if you look at it in a narrow way, there's a high chance you could be disappointed, because that exact thing that you thought your happiness depended on does not happen. But I have found that at every point in time, there was something that was available to me within the music field that made me really happy.
In general, playing with others can be actually really one of the greatest pleasures in making music. The feeling that you're really on the same wavelength and communicating without words can be quite wonderful.
I agree. I think it's true not just for us as a married couple, but whenever you play with other people, there are some things that are entangled between the personal and the musical. How do you rehearse? How do you talk to one another? And I guess one nice way of looking at it is that you can actually work through your relationship with the other person in a positive way by rehearsing. Like, I think that us sometimes talking about even some of the difficulties we might be having in rehearsal, maybe that's part of like a larger picture that we should be talking about, not just in rehearsal, but also in the kitchen. I think avoid comparing yourself to other people. Like, what I have found is that very rarely, and only in, sort of very specific situations, like let's say this competition you're doing today, is it ever in the musical world between you and that other person. Those things truly do not matter in the bigger picture. And I think the more we embrace who we are and who we are as people and as musicians and how unique we are, and the more we build upon our strengths and try to figure out what makes us uniquely happy, the better off we will be in the musical world. I think that especially growing up, I mean, I think maybe we're kind of lucky to be a little bit on the other side of it, but especially growing up, I think it can be very toxic to just kind of always want to compare.
And this is almost probably without exception. And there are always ups and downs to everyone, and you will find out that even people that you think are just sailing and cruising through without any hardships, that in fact even they are encountering difficulties, even if it's just their own playing or things beyond that. So it's important to remember that, and to always remember how lucky we are to be doing this. It's truly a wonderful way to spend many, many, many hours. So we selected the Beethoven C minor sonata for this number 7 for violin and piano. We selected it for a few reasons. First of all, it is Beethoven's anniversary year, 250 years anniversary for Beethoven. And Beethoven is truly a symbol of overcoming difficulties, which is obviously very relevant to today, and especially Beethoven in C minor. C minor is, as many viewers probably know, the key of fate in Beethoven. That's the key of the Fifth Symphony. And that's where Beethoven is, I guess, trying to overcome whatever fate has destined for him. So we thought that this would be appropriate. This particular piece, I guess, that the C minor violin sonata was written, it was still very much with echoes of the French Revolution, so very turbulent era. And even there is the second theme is a little military march that is very, well, I find that it evokes the Marseillaise. So there's, for me, definitely Beethoven definitely relates to events of the day in that composition. And also it's just it's a great piece for violin and piano. Both instruments have quite virtuosic parts, and that's intertwined in very interesting ways, and it's always a challenge and a pleasure to play.
I have nothing to add to that. Thank you for watching. Thank you to audience members for being there for the arts and the artists right now. I mean, we're not on the front lines of the response to this pandemic, but the arts have been hit pretty hard. And I think that the support of the audience in whatever shape or form, even just clicking on the Facebook video, just means a lot, I think. So that's what I would like to share. So thank you.